It's guys. All right, so first question says, factorize this expression, x squared plus 8x plus 15. All right, how are we going to factorize? Absolutely simple. We can use a really quick but quick and smart way of factorizing this. All right, how is it? All you need to do is recognize that since factorization means factors, you're going to have two parentheses multiplying, right? And we're going to fill those parentheses with the things that are going to be multiplying, right? How? Absolutely simple. Look at the trick. First, write the root of the first inside of each of the parentheses, right? The root of the first expression inside each of the parentheses. So what I'm saying is the square root of x to the second power is just x. In other words, without the exponent. There we go. Look at that. We are filling the answer now. Now, let's continue with the rest. How about signs? Let's talk signs. What sign do I leave inside the parentheses? Do I leave pluses or minus? Do I leave plus and minus, minus and plus? Do I leave minuses on both? What signs? Absolutely easy. So easy. Look, the first sign is a positive. So you're gonna leave a positive in the first parenthesis always. Leave a plus because the first sign is a plus. In another example, I'm going to do one with a negative, and I'm going to show you how it will be a negative here. Next, what is the sign of this one? Just remember how to multiply signs. What would be the multiplication of the signs? Positive and positive will give you positive. So that makes it so the final answer is a positive right there. Okay? And last but not least, we're going to write the values that we're missing for the parentheses. How do we do that? Okay, all we need to think about are two numbers that when you multiply them gives you 15. I'm going to write m as multiplication. Two numbers that when you multiply them give you 15. And also those numbers, the same two numbers, when added have to give you 8. So two numbers that multiplied give you 15 and added give you 3. All right, let's think about it. So two numbers that multiplied gives you 15. How about 5 and 3? How about 5 and 3? 5 and 3. Those two, when you multiply, gives you 5. But look at that. When you add them, they also give you 8. So there we go. We have our answer. All you need to do is put 5 and put 3. But did you put 5 and 3 or did you put 3 and 5? It doesn't matter because both of the signs are positive. So it doesn't really matter. And there we go. Just like this, we found our factorization of the first exercise. Can this be solved differently? Sure. This can be solved using common, how do you call that? Factor by grouping. Common factor by grouping. If you were to solve this by grouping, common factor by grouping, all you need to do is rewrite the 8x as 5x plus 3x. 5x plus 3x is the same as 8x. So I'm expanding the 8x into two little numbers, right? What's going on with the camera? Please focus, camera. There we go. X squared plus 5x plus 3x, right? I am expanding the 8x and then plus 15. Now we can do the grouping. Group these two and group these two. The common factor between these two would just be x, right? So x, and then inside we will have x plus 5, right? And if you were to group this thing, the common factor will be 3, right? And then inside we'll have x plus 5, right? And since x and 5, x plus 5, and x plus 5 are the same, we can do the same grouping again. We can group x plus 5, and then the multiplications can be grouped themselves. X plus 3. Look at this. The same answer, but doing it in a different process. This process is the common factor by grouping. Which one do you prefer? That is up to you, right? I prefer to do it this one, to do it in this way. This is kind of a tricky way, but once you get the hang of it, it is absolutely easy to do. And this one, you have the difficulty of having to know the 8. How are you going to amplify it, express it? How? Because you could say 8x is the same as 4x plus 4x. And writing a 4 and a 4 didn't help us at all. So you need to know what two numbers to write right there. So this process has that difficulty. But I mean, if that's something you want to do, go for it, right? All right. Let's do the next question. Let me take a look at the chat and see what the people are saying. Okay. A lot of people is asking yes. I don't know. What are you guys answering yes to? I don't know. What did I answer? Sorry, guys. Tomás Ramirez, can you explain the fourth, please? I don't remember. Absolutely. Let me answer the number 4 in a second. Richie is saying that the answer is 1 that I don't know. Let me just do it and we'll see if that is the answer, all right? Then we'll have the 6th exercise because Daniela Valentina is asking. And then Tomás Roa, the 4th, please. Absolutely, buddy. I'm going to do that one right now. Okay, number 4. Question number 4 says 3p to the 2. 3p to the 2 minus 33p. 33p plus 84. Plus 84. Okay, so the same question. Factorize this expression. All right, how do we factorize? The first thing I notice is that every coefficient in this example, every coefficient is a multiple of 3, right? Every coefficient is a multiple of 3. So we can just do common factor first. That is a perfectly good process, right? We can do common factor. If we were to do the common factor will be just 3 because I could do common factor of these two, and these two will be 3 and p. But the 84 doesn't have any p, and I want to do the common factor of everything, right? So just 3. 3 times p squared minus 11p. Why 11? Because 3 times 11 gives me 33, right? And then plus, one number goes here. 84 divided by 3. How much would be that? 20 what? 30 what? 20, 22? 28. All right, let's see. 8 by 3, 24. Leave the 2 and carry a 2. 2 by 3, 6 plus the 2's 8. Perfect. So that is the number, right? Right now, we just did a common factor. So right there, we factorized the first equation. But can we leave it like that? Well, not really, right? Not really. Because this thing inside can be factorized even further beyond. We can just apply the same trick we did on top. In question number 1, we can find two numbers that when you multiply it gives me 28, and two numbers that when you add them gives me negative 11. Negative 11. Remember, the sign is a part of the number. So negative 11. But what the numbers? All right, don't worry about that. Let me just continue with the parentheses, the values and the signs, and then we will look for the values, all right? So remember, just like we did in here, we fill first the root of the first term. The first term is p squared, so The root will be just p. P and p. Now, let's talk signs. The first sign here is a negative. That makes it so that the first sign here will have to be a negative as well. And what sign goes in here? Well, negative and positive is negative as well. So we're gonna leave a negative over there as well, right? And now we know the two numbers that we are looking for, both numbers have to be negative because those are the sign, negative something and negative something, right? Okay, so two numbers that multiplied gives me 24. What about 14 and 2? 14 and 2 gives me 24. And if I add them, 16, no. No, I wanted 11, right? So not good, not good. All right, let's try to find another one. How about 7 and 4? Can this work? Well, yes, right? This thing is 11. So there we go. We have our two values. 7 and 4. And again, which one do we leave first? Do we leave the 4 and then the 7, or the 7 and then the 4? It doesn't matter. Why? Because both numbers are negative. Sometimes the numbers are positive and negative, or negative and positive. Sometimes that happens. If that happens, maybe in another example I'll show you, if that happens, you need to make sure what number you leave where, because the sign matters. But in this case, since both numbers are negative, it doesn't matter. And now, thanks to our little trick, we have the final factorization. And there we go, guys. We finished number 4. Just as easy as that. All right, let me take a look at the chat, see what you guys are asking about. Marino is saying 28. Juan Pardo is saying 28. Okay, you were telling me this solution, right? Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Richie found the numbers first. Okay, pretty good. Sara Sofia, all right, you got the right answer. And Richie, thank you, mister. No problem, my friend. I'm here to help you. All right. Daniel, teacher, please, the number 5. Okay, I'll do number 5 then. Let me erase over here, and I'll do number 5 in this corner. All right. Hopefully the board is not too crowded for you guys. I don't want to erase the things that we have done because we can use them to explain different exercises, all right? I'm going to continue with number 5 over here, and then I'll erase the entire board, all right? Number 5. Okay, the question in number 5 says 4p squared minus 36q minus 36q plus 32. All right, so let's solve that exercise. Can we do common factor in this exercise just like we did in the first one? Can we? Can we take out the 4 as a common factor? If we can, we will have to have a solution for 36 divided by 4. 36 can be divided by 4. So we are good right there, right? And can we divide 32 by 4? Well, yes, right? 32 can be divided by 4. Okay, cool. So let's do common factor first. The common factor will be 4. And inside, we'll have p squared minus 36 divided by 4. How much is that? That thing is 9. So 9q. And then plus 32 divided by 4. How much is that? 32 divided by 4. Let's see. Well, that thing is 8. So let's just leave the 8 over there and close our parentheses. That's it. Common factor first. Now that we have our common factor, we have the same type of exercise as before. We need to find two numbers that multiplied gives me 8, and when added gives me 9. Let's just do our little trick first so that we can see the signs. Maybe one of them are negative. We don't know. So let's see. P and P, because we are doing the square root of the first term, so P. negative because that is the first sign, and then negative and positive make this second a negative as well. So we know the two values are negative. We are looking for two values that when multiplied gives me 8 and when added gives me 9. All right, let's begin. Let's make a list. How about 2 plus 4 plus 2? This thing, if I multiply them, that's 8. But if I add them, this is 6, so not good. Another two values. Some two values that when I multiply them, gives me 8. How about 8 and 1? If I multiplied 8 and 1, the solution is 8. 8 by 1 is 8. And if I add them, look at this, is 9. So perfect. We have our two values, 8 and 1. And since both of them are negative, it doesn't matter where I leave them. I can leave 8 here and 1 over here. And just like that, we solve question number 5. All right, let me see the chat. See if you guys have any more questions. Okay, Sara Sofia, Richie, Isa Castro, you all got the numbers correct. Perfect. Congratulations. And Carol Andrea, okay, you got the final solution. Congratulations, pretty good. Okay, guys, did you have any more questions? I want you to try it, all right? I think these 3 exercises paint a pretty good idea of the trick, right? So go ahead and give the trick a try. I want you guys to try it. And the moment where you cannot solve one exercise, then you can ask me, all right? So I'm going to stop the recording right now. Thank you.